Greetings, Goddess Body Mind Spirit community. This is Omilade, your Goddess Guru, here to share a word of inspiration with you on your path to self-realization and self-mastery. Happy April 2016. This is take number 3. I didn't know it was going to be so challenging to try to explain radical forgiveness. My plan is to talk about radical forgiveness and our emotions. But I keep just getting lost in my thoughts because radical forgiveness is a big deal. First and foremost, let me say this. If I get lost in my thoughts, I'll do my best to bring it back. Go look up Radical Forgiveness by Colin Tipping. I found this book about 10 years ago, and it has proven to be pivotal. If you look actually in my in the description of this video, I'll put a link where I wrote about radical forgiveness. And so yes, and then the emotion part is I recently watched a movie called Emotion. It is fabulous. If you want to heal body, mind, or spirit, emotion is, you got to watch the movie. So I had a conversation recently with 2 women. We were talking about relationship with mothers. Not everyone has a glorious relationship with their mom, as many of you know. Not everyone has a glorious relationship with daddy, as many of you know. But it is not the end of the world, and it is perhaps your setup of the situation that will lead you to knowing the truth of who and what you are that has put you in that place. The bottom line is this. This is really what the bottom line is. You have to know the truth of who and what you are. And you have to know what is the ultimate reality. When you know the truth of who and what you are and what is the ultimate reality, the bottom line is this. You don't have a mama and you don't have a daddy. Your physical self does, but you do not. Nothing in this reality called the physical realm is real. Everything we see is thought in form. It's consciousness being made in form. It's consciousness expressing itself as experiences. And it's all based on what are we thinking and what are we feeling. Perhaps it is based on our higher self, which I call the Ori, seeking to get us in alignment with our destiny, where we have gotten so lost in this reality that we are not in alignment with our destiny. But our higher self, which is here just for us, it's a part of who and what we are. It's an extension of the self. It is the true self of us. It knows what we are supposed to be doing, and when we're not doing it, then it will be working to try to get us back in alignment with our destiny. It will be working to try to get us out of this, operating from the consciousness of the physical self, which is really just a suit that we have put on to have a physical experience. It really has no power. And we know that. This is why we feel so powerless a lot of times. But the Ori is seeking to get us out of this into a greater expansive awareness of ourselves, so that we remember that we are divine consciousness, that we are divinity in a body. We have simply forgotten. We need to remember. We have a blueprint that will help us remember the truth of who and what we are. The question is, how lost are we in the jungle, or are we following the map? And so we all come here to learn lessons. And for some of us, those lessons will be learned through having a problematic relationship with the people that help us come into this physical form, that conceived us and birthed us. Mama and daddy. We planned on it. We planned on it. Okay? And so, and we planned on it because it was a part of what we decided we needed to learn. And so, you know, the Ori, the higher self, knows the plan. And the Ori sets it up because the Ori, that part of ourselves, says, I'm here for you. There's so much love that I have, that I am setting up these relationships as they are, because this is what needs to happen for you to remember the truth of who and what you are. That's what we're here to learn, the truth of who and what we are. My higher self will conspire, this is what radical forgiveness says, with someone else's higher self to bring us together to learn the lesson. And it is said in radical forgiveness that sometimes the people who love us the most, or the energies that love us the most on the greater spiritual level, are the ones that give us the hardest times. Because the bottom line is, we are one consciousness. There is no individual nothing in the highest truth. There is just beingness. God, Goddess, the great divine consciousness is no form. It is no thing. It is beingness. It is pure potentiality. It is peace. Okay? That's really, when you take off the physical, that's it. That's it. That's everybody. We are one. However, when we are in physical form, what radical forgiveness teaches is that those energy, all of us, really, we conspire, on the level that we cannot see, to come together to help us learn a particular lesson. And that on the highest spiritual level, it is painful for that person's spirit. Let's say we were talking about mama, so I'm going to use mama. For that spirit to be that way to you as mama, it's not like they really wanted to, but you agreed to it. The energies, the higher wisdom agreed that this is what that person would do in physical form to help you learn your lesson. They loved you so much, they came here and caused problems for you because they did not want you to stay stuck. It's hard to get that because babies are born with expectations to have a loving, caring, nurturing relationship with both mama and daddy. And we don't get that, on the physical level. It sucks. It doesn't feel good. And it really sets us up for other issues. But on the higher physical level, it is the path to your destiny. I talk about the goddess Oya out of the Ifa tradition. It's the energy of the old wise woman crone who is all about radical change, who is all about release and let go and transition. And sometimes when you're caught up with Oya, it is not fun. A lot of times it's not fun because we weren't listening in the first place. Oya speaks to us through the wind. And she will come through as a gentle breeze and say, baby, you need to let it go. But Oya can come through too like a tornado. And then you look and everything's gone. Alright? So Oya is not an energy that is all the time fun to deal with. But this is what I've come to learn about Oya for myself. I give thanks for Oya. Oya is like, you know what? I will put a butt whooping on you because I care about you that much. I'm not going to let you fall. I love you that much, you know. And so that's what happens sometimes, that we have to accept that sometimes the very one that we thought was going to be there for us really was, but not how we thought it was. But radical forgiveness says on the higher spiritual level, you and that person agreed this was the relationship that you were going to have in order for you to get to where you needed to go. So for me, and this is what I try to explain to people, you know, I had a loving relationship with my mom. However, once she transitioned and went, you know, on back to the other side, I really didn't have a relationship with myself. So yes, my mother set it up, and to a large extent I needed my mama to be the way that she was for me, because you know, we had rough times at times because of my father. But once she died, I realized, okay, you know, the ultimate relationship wasn't with mama. I see other people having problems with their mama, and I was like, well, maybe it's something else I really need to be thinking about. Maybe it wasn't my relationship with mama. And I spent years crying for mama. Only to realize, you know, what I'm looking for, it wasn't mama. Yeah, my mother, I needed a mama to come here. I needed my daddy to come here. Even with all the pain that I feel as a result of being raised up by my dad, who I love dearly. So Dad, if you see this video, it's nothing personal. You know it's true. You know, it was alcoholism and violence in my home, you know. I still am now like, wow, I see how that has something to do with my destiny. I was told, I'll just really give you an example, that I came here, one of my purposes is to come here and get self-esteem. That's one of my reasons for being here. I can't quite figure out why, but you know, we come here to learn these lessons. So I came to learn self-esteem. Well, my esteem really got blown out the water. Not in totality, but in part, a large part, because of the home life that I had. It beat me up, and I never got hit, nothing. I didn't experience violence, but I saw it. And you know, when you're dealing with an alcoholic, I'm highly sensitive. It just beat me up a little bit, you know. And I didn't have the worst childhood that anyone could potentially have, but it messed me up. It really did. How can I learn self-esteem if I'm not born into something that gives me self-esteem issues? For the longest time, I was like mad about my childhood. Then once I started getting into radical forgiveness, I said, oh, I had to have that daddy with these experiences in order for me to get messed up so that I could actually work on my self-esteem. I don't have all the answers. I don't know why I have to work on self-esteem. Why couldn't I just have been born with esteem and that's just how it is? Well, divinity, let's go back to this. Divinity wants to experience itself. Divinity makes us forget the truth of who and what we are so that we can remember it. What is a very good way to forget the truth of who and what you are? Have self-esteem issues. And then as you begin to work through your self-esteem issues, you will begin to remember the truth of who and what you are. I don't know why you have the issues that you have with your mama or your daddy, with your care provider. I don't know. But there is a higher divine purpose to it all. And the thing that we're being called to do is to look at, what is my destiny? And what does this have to do with my destiny? Going back to what I was saying about my mother. I'm one that had a good relationship. But at the end of the day, for me, the ultimate relationship is with myself. What is myself? It is the higher divine consciousness that is you, that is me. It has nothing to do with my mama. You know, the more I study and I'm feeling like I'm growing and evolving, the better I see, you know, the more I desire relationship with the divine consciousness, the less I cry for my mother. Why I used to cry all the time. Where's mama? I can't make it without mama. Now I'm like complete whole. And it has nothing to do with mama. And it may have something to do with mama. You know, I would like to believe mama is like, hey, I really need you to break yourself free, because you attached to my ego, not even my spirit. You need to get in touch with the greater divine consciousness. And this is what radical forgiveness is all about. It's seeing the big picture. It's understanding that everything that has happened is a part of a plan, and that plan is calling you to the truth, experiencing and living and walking in the truth of who and what you are. I haven't even touched on the tip of the iceberg, but that's basically radical forgiveness. And if you are into working with the goddesses, I encourage you to work with the energy of Ma'at. If you need to forgive, which is really, if you need to step into freedom, then work with the energy of Ma'at. Okay? Someone's going to say, how do I do this? I'm going to give you a quick and dirty answer and then perhaps make another video. Ma'at, will you help me? I'm calling on the energy of Ma'at. Ma'at, help me. That's how I make it. Okay, that's how I make it. And I would think Ma'at would say, you know what? It's already written and laid out in Radical Forgiveness. Go get the book. Now let me tell you, the book is based on largely A Course in Miracles, but it is stated you don't have to study the Course in Miracles, even subscribe to it or anything like that, because really Radical Forgiveness is universal. It transcends, you know, any one spirit tradition, book, whatever. But it really is, it was liberating for me. There's a process that you can go through that helps you to, it's called this Radical Forgiveness sheet, and you can do the work on the sheet. And of course meditation is another thing you can do, because the more you see the big picture and experience it, the less you that's one thing I do want to say that I walk out of Radical Forgiveness with, that everything you think that has happened to you has not happened. Your soul has never been touched. Yes, your physical self may experience some things. Your physical self perhaps experience a bad relationship with mama and daddy, a relationship that left you unhappy. But your truest self, your soul, has never been touched. You are whole, you are complete, you are intact. That's Ma'at. That is Radical Forgiveness. That is truth. Knowing that your soul is never touched by anything in the physical reality. And it is that part where you want to raise your consciousness to and operate from that place. You have never, your true self has never experienced one bit of pain, hurt, or harm. Okay, so next thing we have within us, and this is from emotion. I am Omo Yemonya, which means I am initiated. I'm a child of Yemonya, initiated into Yemonya. Yemonya is the goddess who is the mother energy. Okay? And Yemoya, Aset, is the energy that governs the emotions. It teaches the wisdom of the emotions, okay? And it is all about, this is Yemoya. The medicine of Yemoya is all about memory. And as I've been talking about radical forgiveness, look at the word I've been using. Remember the truth of who and what you are. And so, what we have to know when we're dealing with Yemoya and the emotions is that basically emotions, they are emotional guidance system. They help us to understand, are we in a place where we want to be or not? They're giving us feedback. All right? And sometimes memories are stored. Memory and emotions. And this is what I got from this movie, Emotion. It blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Memories are stored as emotions within the body. So what does this have to do with radical forgiveness? So of course, if we have issues with mama and daddy, we probably have a lot of stored memories in our bodies in the form of emotions. And so what this movie taught was how when these emotions get stored in our bodies, basically it's like programming underneath, and it's causing us to act a certain way whether or not we are aware of it. It's creating dis-ease in the body, the mind, and the spirit. It all makes sense, right? Intellectually. But the question is, what are you doing to address the emotions in the body? I have to say, I just watched this movie 2 times in the last week. I watch movies like serially. I will watch one movie 50,000 times until I get everything I need to get out of this movie. So I'm just saying all that to say that I'm only touching the tip of the iceberg with this right now. But I do think that the two go hand in hand, that perhaps some of the way we hold on to the hurt and the pain so much from mama and daddy is that we have so many stored emotions. Just think about what you remember on a regular basis, the thoughts that pop up in your mind. Perhaps they are rising up so that you can see them to release them. That was like the main thing in the movie Emotion, that we have to find a way to release the stored emotions. And perhaps as we allow these emotions, and all of the people that spoke in this movie talked about the need to feel the emotions. The best thing you can do is let them come up and feel the emotions and to release them, to find a way to get them out of the body. And that's one thing I love about the wisdom and the medicine of Yemonya as it comes to me and applied to my own life. And that is that self-care is highly important. And a lot of times we self-abuse because we feel so horrible. We are doing everything we can to numb the negative feelings that we are having. But instead, what we need to do is continue to do things that are loving. Now, a lot of times we do stuff all the time and it looks like it's loving, but it's really just masking the pain. We really and truly, and it's very challenging sometimes, I think. I used to think, I don't know if I can deal with the anger and the rage, or I don't know if I can deal with, like, it's there and it's been there so long and it becomes like a festering wound, and you're afraid if I let this thing up, I don't even know if I'm gonna live through it. It feels terrifying. And so, but we'll be doing all these things that look like, beauty treatments and buying stuff or whatever, going here and there on these excursions. It'll look like we're taking care of ourselves, and on some level it may be okay, maintenance, but it's not really doing the work of release. So we really want to engage in self-care that will help us release. So one of the things that came to me to tell you all is my godmother, Oshanike, Anke, she is based in Kentucky. She does healing intensive weekends. She does retreats. These retreats in particular are for women, but she does healing intensives with, individuals, male or female. So that, and she is very good at helping to bring up our stuff so that we can actually let it go. She's very good at helping people come up with a game plan to follow once they leave the healing intensive weekend, because any of us that do work know the healing intensive is a stage, it's a place. There's so much more to do beyond that. You're just not, some of us are, but a lot of us are not just completely, totally together once we leave that healing intensive. And so you need a plan beyond that. And so she's very wise, and so she will know this plan, and perhaps even set up follow-ups with you. And so that's something I want you all to think about. But you want to, and even the radical forgiveness, I have a friend, once she found out about radical forgiveness, she's even gone to radical forgiveness workshops. And so you want to take steps to heal in a way that helps you release. Recently, some men here where I live in Tennessee held a sweat lodge ceremony. And the sweat lodge ceremony is a place for bringing our stuff up and, helping, asking the ancestors and the elemental forces to help us heal ourselves. And, we're wanting to release as well as get rebirth anew. There are so many things, but the thing is this: you really need to have the real intention of letting it go. Okay? You want to get these stored emotions out of your body. And perhaps as you release the thoughts, the memories, and the attachments, because some of it becomes our identity. The experiences that we had with our parents, it becomes our identity. And if we let go of that, to a certain degree, we let go of that connection to that we've struggled with even having to our parents. And we become someone new, we become someone different. But you want me to tell you what? As one who knows, you will be free. When you free yourself from being mad at mama and daddy, and your ultimate is with the great divine energy, you'll say, it never even happened. We are one. I was always one with mama and daddy. And it didn't even happen. And I'm free. I'm free to go on. My energy is free to do whatever it is. I just really like what one lady said. She said, I realize the more I go up in terms of evolution, the deeper I have to go. And it came to me, you can't go up if you have something pressing down on you called anger, called I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm hurt at mama and daddy. It is very difficult to evolve and to grow. We have to let it go. We have to share it. We have to release. I hope that this video will help you. And I'm grateful that I felt moved to talk about it, because I realized I need to grow and evolve in how I talk about this. If I have to make 3 and 4 videos before I can halfway get it right. But I hope that you are able to take something from this. Read the book, watch the movie, set up a healing weekend intensive with Ia, and I'll put the next teleconference information. I do a teleconference with some priest and priestess friends. I'll put the date, time, and telephone number for that particular cause. So get on the call with us. Do your work. Do your work. And do it with the intent to get free, to get happy, to feel peaceful. This is Omilade. Thank you all so much. Peace and blessings.